the hybridization that occurred in certain genetic lineages led to a more efficient system of storing oxygen in the body for the purpose of accessing higher frequency domains and information. The oxygenation of the body is of paramount importance in speeding up the vibrational resonance of the physical form and having the idea of not exactly two hearts, but more chambers in the heart than you have that makes it function as if it's doubled, allows for a more efficient distribution of oxygen throughout the system, and also a greater amount of oxygen throughout the system that then increases the probability of raising the frequency to the exact pitch required for easier connection to higher frequency realms of consciousness and other dimensions of experience.
So just like when Daryl does deep breathing in order to make the connection with you, the idea is that she has a much higher level of oxygen in her system than we do?
Yes, and this is also why we have mentioned from time to time that there is more oxygen on our planet in the atmosphere. Not a lot, but enough that it allows for the stabilization of that frequency to be common.
Okay. Is there a way that you can support elementals in this time of planetary transition, since they seem to have an important role in keeping the Earth in balance?
Well, in a sense, the idea of taking on the role from your side of keeping the Earth in balance and doing the things that will help stabilize the environment in positive ways, increasing the idea of the natural world and making those connections from your side will be something that will also allow them more opportunity to do so from their side. So the whole idea of making the connection with them and taking actions in your reality that are more representative of enhancing the environment, stabilizing the environment in a more natural way, is what you can do from your side while they do what they do from their side. It's not entirely up to them. This has to be a relationship. It has to be, in a sense, a 50-50 proposition.
It just occurred to me that the connection that elementals experience with Earth and nature is a profoundly deep love affair, in a sense.
Yes.
And that the more that you love Earth and you love all the elements of Earth, the more you are putting yourself in a state that's similar to what an elemental might experience.
Exactly, and therefore, like we have said with regard to extraterrestrial contact, you have to meet them halfway. You have to bring your vibrational frequency at least much closer to the level that they operate on in order for you to perceive them and in order for you to interact with them in the ways that will allow for the acceleration of the balance of the natural world of Earth.
Now, one person had an experience where they were with a grove of trees and suddenly shifted to a parallel reality where they realized that the forest is inhabited with tree people. In other words, the people of the forest are the trees, and that they are a community that has very strong bonds, and they're also very welcoming of the human consciousness.
That's why we say that the trees are, in a sense, the ambassadors between humans and the natural world, because they're connected to the idea of physical humans, they're connected to the idea of the elementals, and in a sense they act as the go-between. So they're always welcoming you into their reality to act as, well, for lack of a better term, brokers between the two different civilizations of human and elemental. That's the common bond. That's the common frequency. That's the common interface, are the trees.
So they experience each other as individual consciousnesses
And collective, both.
and a collective at the same time. And they have young people and old people, and it's just it's a community of being.
It is. But again, when you say young people and old people, we understand what you mean in terms of time and the growth of trees. But don't assign a human perspective to that, because they don't see it exactly in that way. Remember that they can perceive things in parallel realities in multiple dimensions a little bit differently than you can. And the idea of young and old has a particular perspective to them, but it's not exactly the human perspective.
And yet you need the older trees in a forest in order to share their energy with the younger trees.
Yes, yes. But again, all we're simply saying is the terminology that you're using, the definitions that you're using, have a particular human bent to them that is not experienced exactly in the same way by the tree consciousness.
And one last thing about trees, that they seem to have a very generous spirit in general.
Yes.
And their genetics are actually more complex than ours.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So they are actually highly evolved beings in many respects.
Yes. In fact, the very idea that they are apparently to you immobile requires the extra genetics and the extra abilities, because they can't move away from things like humans can. Therefore, they have to have more adaptability to a variety of situations, hence a more complex genetic structure.
And they communicate with each other chemically, so they let each other know that there's danger or all kinds of communication that happens.
Yes, yes.
So it's very sophisticated, and yet it's hidden to human consciousness unless you shift your vibration to be able to perceive what is actually happening.
Yes, but it's not hidden on purpose. It is simply the idea of the limitations that human consciousness has placed on itself, because long ago, when humans were much more connected in their understanding of their expression of nature, it wasn't hidden at all. It was understood very clearly.
So that would be Native Americans, Lemurians, those beings were much more
early Atlanteans, yes. And not leaving out the idea of people in other parts of your planet, because many of them also had a more natural way of relating to nature.
Yes, I think almost every continent had its share of shamanic beings that were connecting with nature.
Yes. And it was much more common in those societies to understand those things as natural.
Now, one person has a boa constrictor, and he wants to know how to communicate with that being, and if it's possible to create a relationship and an emotional connection between a reptilian being, and I'm talking about actual reptile, and human.
Well, of course it is. So again, many of the things we've already said will apply as well. The idea of the deep emotional bond, the idea of using imagery instead of words. The reptile will also assist you in understanding exactly how to frame those images, how to frame those emotions in its context, in its quote-unquote language.
So you're basically saying, be the snake, and then you will know how to talk to the snake.
In essence, yes, and the snake will help you if it really senses a deep willingness and a deep bond in your consciousness that wishes to do so. So again, this is why it's so important to have that deep, loving, vibrational, harmonic bond, because then the being will sense that you really desire a connection and will help you with that connection by sending the imagery and the feelings as well that will help you understand how to focus in on its particular way of creating a communication.
Okay, I think that's helpful. Let's see. I'm going to switch over to a question having to do with the precursors.
Yes.
And we wanted to give you an opportunity to clarify the idea of whether precursors were actually born here on the planet or whether they are actually extraterrestrial.
We understand that there may have been a slip in translation when we first talked about that concept. And this is why we have recently begun to talk about people born on the planet who have similar hybridized genetics to precursors as being preparers rather than calling themselves precursors. Precursor, by definition, is something that comes before something else. And therefore, since you're already on the planet, you can't be precursors because you're not coming to the planet, you're on the planet. But you can be preparers. And the preparers can exhibit some of the same vibrational frequencies as the precursors. But precursors are born off the planet. They are hybrids from off the planet, are not born on Earth. Who is born on Earth are preparers. We apologize for any confusion in translation.
Did you say your ship is called Nexus? Someone...
No, it's not called Nexus, but the idea is that it can use nexus points in order for its ability to shift location to location. In a sense, any ship that uses that technology can be called a Nexus-style ship.
And was the USFO that crashed at Roswell just as alive as that?
No. Different kind of technology altogether, a little bit more akin to your understanding of technology.
Do stories and fictional universes actually exist in their own right? And we are sort of seeing them and tapping into their energy when we read something or think about them?
They can. Now, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily all experienced in the same kind of physical way that you experience your reality, but that doesn't mean that they're any less real. So when we say that they're all real in one way, shape, or form, you have to understand that that may include a multitude of dimensions, including the spirit realm. So they're not necessarily physical in the way that you know it, but they are real. You are tapping into a real reality on some level of consciousness. Now, again, some of them may be absolutely the way you imagine them, and some of them may be a little bit different. But somewhere along the line, all the attributes are real, whether they all belong in one reality or several.
Okay. One individual, when they were a child, they dreamed that they basically visited inner Earth. And they felt that they were being teased by adults about this idea.
Yes.
Is there an actual inner Earth culture or an inner Earth reality?
Yes, but it's not actually physically in your Earth. It's in another dimension. Many people may mistake the idea that it's inside your Earth physically because of how they may arrive there by going through different portals that sometimes can be underground or in caves or what have you. But without knowing it, they may have actually literally shifted into a different dimensional reality and still assume that they're on the Earth or in the Earth that they were originally on, which they're not until they go back through the portal and come back out onto their original reality, so to speak. But the idea is that there are other dimensions that are perceived as being inside physical objects such as a planet, but they're not literally there necessarily. They can be, but they're not literally there in your case. So people that find themselves in what they perceive to be inner Earth are actually in another dimension that they've shifted to without necessarily knowing it.
And can you tell us anything about what it's like there?
Well, there are many different kinds of places there. There isn't just one place that people go to. There are shells within shells within shells within shells of dimensions within dimensions within dimensions within dimensions. So it just depends on what frequency you entered the portal in as to where you wind up.
And also what's relevant to your life theme in terms of what information you receive
Yes.
about that environment?
Yes, so there isn't one place I can tell you about.
In fact, aren't most of these things sort of geared towards what will excite us on a deep level based on our own unique?
Well, generally speaking, or they're certainly geared toward the idea of the kind of information that you agreed to participate in the theme of exploration on Earth.
And that's why people have so many different kinds of experiences, because it's all uniquely tailored
Yes,
for their consciousness.
of course it is. How could it be otherwise?
Right? Yes, because you're doing it. This individual is very excited about Atlantis, and
Yes.
he wanted to know, or she, some hot spots to go to tap into Atlantean energy and give themselves the opportunity to receive information there.
Well, certainly the Bahamas, the areas you know as Cuba, the area you know as the Yucatan, and even across the sea, the area that you know as Crete. Some areas in Spain, some areas in the area you call North Africa and ancient Egypt do still have some Atlantean remnants to the ideas of survivors that went there. So any of those places can be energy centers that you can gravitate yourself to based on what you're attracted to do or experience, that can allow you, as a permission slip, more efficacy in tapping into Atlantean information.
And I know the Bimini Road, many people think that it's underwater.
Yes,
and
yes.
You can actually swim along and look at the Bimini Road.
Yes, well, it wasn't originally a road, it's a collapsed wall.
Oh. Yeah, because it just looks like these huge concrete blocks.
Yes.
That stretch on for a long period of time, and you can swim along it.
Yes. Well, if you look on a map that shows you what that area looked like when the water level was lower during the Ice Age, the ocean level was lower, you will see what the actual outline of that main Atlantean island was. And you can see more clearly when the water is lower, where other locations also allowed for cities to be built. But again, remember, even though many people depict the concept of ancient Atlantis as looking sort of Grecian, the true architecture of Atlantis is more the idea of Mayan or Aztec.
And it's quite rural in the sense of the society itself, yes?
Well, in a sense, yes. There were some main city parts, but for the most part, yes, the cities were quite open. There was quite a lot of rural countryside that surrounded them and was utilized for farming and different purposes.
Will a time come where we'll actually be able to, in a sense, see, because our vibration is higher? Like, can you see Atlantis?
Yes.
From your vibrational level?
Absolutely. That's why we're telling you the architecture isn't what most people think.
That's so interesting. So we're capable of achieving that in our lifetime, yes?
Yes, of course.
Well, that's interesting. Okay, so this question has to do with interacting with different versions of a person. And does each version represent a different, distinct soul that you're looking at when you...
If you're talking about the idea of one single body, then no. Doesn't represent different souls. It represents different aspects of the same soul.
Okay. And then when people are a different version because they're in my reality that I prefer, does that different version depend on me, or is there something that they do? So does this mean that if I experience something that I view as negative, it's up to me to change my vibration, which will then give me a different version of that person?
That can happen, yes. But the idea is that you're taking some information from them in your telepathic contact, and you're rendering out of your own energy, out of your own consciousness, a reasonable facsimile, not only of what you're getting from them, but also what you're taking from your own belief systems and what you need to see. So yes, very often changing your frequency, coming from a different place, will allow you to, quote unquote, manufacture a different version of them, because you've shifted to another reality where there already is a different version of them, because now you're coming from a different place, a different frequency, a different reality.
Yeah, occasionally you will actually hear of somebody having a negative interaction with someone and then going into a meditative state, communicating with that person on a higher level in a sense, and balancing their own energy in relation to what was communicated to them, and then going back and reconnecting with the physical person and finding that their behavior has also changed.
Correct, but the truth is their behavior hasn't changed because the person they're dealing with is actually a different person.
Okay, so they're getting another version of that person.
Because they're in a different parallel version of Earth. Yes.
It's very interesting because it really does shift the focus back to your own personal responsibility, but at the same time, you're not to blame for other people's negative behavior, or the fact that you see another person's negative behavior does not mean that's a one-on-one reflection of your own negativity.
Correct. The issues that other people may have that you attract into your life may have nothing to do with your issues, but there's a reason why they're there. It might be because you need to help them. It might be because you need to act as a sounding board in some way or a reflection to them for their issues, whether they know it or not. But generally speaking, though it can sometimes be a one-to-one reflection, it isn't always. You have to have the discernment to be able to tell what's actually going on and why that person has been attracted or at least allowed by you into your life.
Yes, and the idea is what you do with the transmission or the receipt of information from that person.
Absolutely.
It puts it back in your court that what you do with it will determine the
Yes.
effect that you get out of it.
Yes, because no matter how the situation originated, whether it was created from negativity, no matter what anyone else's experience or opinion is or perspective is of the situation, you still get to determine how the situation will affect you because you're the one affecting yourself with your relationship and definition of that particular situation. So you can always get a benefit no matter what happens, depending on what you choose to do in relation to that circumstance.
And when people die at the same time, like in a plane crash or something like that, do they
Yes.
have an awareness of the other people who are transitioning at the same time that they do?
Sometimes, not always. Again, it depends upon their vibrational path.
Yeah, it's just so interesting, like that a whole group of people would get on a plane and when it crashes, they're all transitioning simultaneously.
Yes. Well, it's not really, if you stop and think about it, any more mysterious than all the people getting on the plane because they happen to be going to the same city. It's just that they're going to a city they didn't necessarily realize they were going to.
Yeah. That's intense.
Well, again, it's no more mysterious than the kind of orchestration that happens when you get on any particular kind of a device. So again, the orchestration of getting a certain amount of people on a certain vehicle to go to a certain city is an orchestration. This is no different.
And it's also if the people may not be aware that they've chosen that, but at some level, they've taken the exit in a sense.
Yes.
For whatever their specific purpose was or reasoning was, or it was their time.
Whether they know it or not, they have bought a ticket to that particular destination in a coordinated orchestration with the others. Those that haven't, you will find, as you often hear, will find themselves not necessarily getting on that plane for one reason or another synchronistically.
Yeah, this certainly brings back memories of the 9/11 situation.
Yes. And again, none of this excuses the perpetration of these particular kinds of events, but people will take advantage of whatever they need to take advantage of for a variety of reasons. And remember that sometimes those reasons are a higher level of themselves may be willing to go out that way to help the people that remain behind realize how to make sure things like that aren't necessarily opportunities for people in the future ever again. Because there are many ways that you can leave physical reality. It does not have to be through the idea of disaster or terrorism or anything like that. You will find a way when it's your time to find a way. But the idea can be that certainly those kinds of ways don't need to be the ways if you feel that that is too disruptive to the psyche that allows you to find a peaceful situation in your reality.
So, is there anything we can do to consciously choose the way we die instead of it just randomly happening when the time is right?
Well, yes, of course there is. There are several ways. But the idea, of course, is you don't necessarily have to pay attention to that, or you don't really have to necessarily know about that. If there is purpose, then yes, you can know. A well-known story on your planet comes from an individual known as Cochise, who knew the exact time of his death and predicted it. But again, it's not always important that you know that. If there is purpose to it, you will know. But again, the only way it's most likely you will know, if you need to know, is by, guess what? Following the formula.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Because anything, any kind of information that is truly relevant for you to know about on your journey, on your path, will come to you when you follow the formula, because the formula leaves nothing relevant out.
For example, like with Steve Irwin, he was definitely following his passion when he was swimming with that stingray.
Yes.
And yet that turned out to be the way that he was going to exit the planet.
And many people will choose to do that while they're doing something they love to do. In a sense, they're, quote unquote, dying happy.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a good way to approach it then. Do what excites you the most with integrity and following all the other elements of the formula. And if it is your time, that will, at least you will go out doing something you love doing.
Absolutely. If you want to put it in those pragmatic terms, that can work. Again, please do remember that when you do transition, you will understand exactly why you may have chosen that path, and it'll be perfectly fine.
And so, energetically and mechanically speaking, what does it mean to be grounded or ungrounded?
Well, again, in true alignment with yourself is grounding. Misalignment, being out of alignment with yourself, is ungrounding, for lack of a better term, to put it in the most simplistic way.
So, in a sense, when you follow a shamanic path, do you need to keep a foot in both worlds, so to speak?
As long as you find that it is not your time to transition, then automatically yes, because any shaman or anyone in balance acts like a link or a bridge between the physical and non-physical realities. So yes, you're automatically a bridge. Therefore, 1 foot in each realm is exactly what needs to happen.
And that's a skill unto itself.
Yes, it is. It's an art like any.
And can you elaborate on why Willa has 2 hearts?
The hybridization that occurred in certain genetic lineages led to a more efficient system of storing oxygen in the body for the purpose of accessing higher frequency domains and information. The oxygenation of the body is of paramount importance in speeding up the vibrational resonance of the physical form and having the idea of not exactly 2 hearts, but more chambers in the heart than you have that makes it function as if it's doubled, allows for a more efficient distribution of oxygen throughout the system, and also a greater amount of oxygen throughout the system, that then increases the probability of raising the frequency to the exact pitch required for easier connection to higher frequency realms of consciousness and other dimensions of experience.
So just like when Daryl does deep breathing in order to make the connection with you, the idea is that she has a much higher level of oxygen in her system than we do?
Yes, and this is also why we have mentioned from time to time that there is more oxygen on our planet in the atmosphere. Not a lot, but enough that it allows for the stabilization of that frequency to be common.
Okay. Is there a way that you can support elementals in this time of planetary transition, since they seem to have an important role in keeping the Earth in balance?
Well, in a sense, the idea of taking on the role from your side of keeping the Earth in balance and doing the things that will help stabilize the environment in positive ways, increasing the idea of the natural world and making those connections from your side will be something that will also allow them more opportunity to do so from their side. So the whole idea of making the connection with them and taking actions in your reality that are more representative of enhancing the environment, stabilizing the environment in a more natural way, is what you can do from your side while they do what they do from their side. It's not entirely up to them. This has to be a relationship. It has to be, in a sense, a 50-50 proposition.
It just occurred to me that the connection that elementals experience with Earth and nature is a profoundly deep love affair, in a sense.
Yes.
And that the more that you love Earth and you love all the elements of Earth, the more you are putting yourself in a state that's similar to what an elemental might experience.
Exactly. And therefore, like we have said with regard to extraterrestrial contact, you have to meet them halfway. You have to bring your vibrational frequency at least much closer to the level that they operate on in order for you to perceive them and in order for you to interact with them in the ways that will allow for the acceleration of the balance of the natural world of Earth.
Now, one person had an experience where they were with a grove of trees and suddenly shifted to a parallel reality where they realized that the forest is inhabited with tree people. In other words, the people of the forest are the trees, and that they are a community that has very strong bonds, and they're also very welcoming of the human consciousness.
That's why we say that the trees are, in a sense, the ambassadors between humans and the natural world, because they're connected to the idea of physical humans, they're connected to the idea of the elementals, and in a sense they act as the go-between. So they're always welcoming you into their reality to act as, well, for lack of a better term, brokers between the two different civilizations of human and elemental. That's the common bond. That's the common frequency. That's the common interface, are the trees.
So they experience each other as individual consciousnesses.
And collective, both.
And a collective at the same time. And they have young people and old people, and it's just it's a community of being.
It is. But again, when you say young people and old people, we understand what you mean in terms of time and the growth of trees. Yeah. But don't assign a human perspective to that, because they don't see it exactly in that way. Remember that they can perceive things in parallel realities in multiple dimensions a little bit differently than you can. And the idea of young and old has a particular perspective to them, but it's not exactly the human perspective.
And yet you need the older trees in a forest in order to share their energy with the younger trees.
Yes, yes. But again, all we're simply saying is the terminology that you're using, the definitions that you're using, have a particular human bent to them that is not experienced exactly in the same way by the tree consciousness.
And one last thing about trees, that they seem to have a very generous spirit in general.
Yes.
And their genetics are actually more complex than ours.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So they are actually highly evolved beings in many respects.
Yes. In fact, the very idea that they are apparently to you immobile requires the extra genetics and the extra abilities, because they can't move away from things like humans can. Therefore, they have to have more adaptability to a variety of situations, hence a more complex genetic structure.
And they communicate with each other chemically, so they let each other know that there's a danger or all kinds of communication
Yes.
that happens.
Yes, yes.
So it's very sophisticated, and yet it's hidden to human consciousness unless you shift your vibration to be able to perceive what is actually happening.
Yes, but it's not hidden on purpose. It is simply the idea of the limitations that human consciousness has placed on itself, because long ago, when humans were much more connected in their understanding of their expression of nature, it wasn't hidden at all. It was understood very clearly.
So that would be Native Americans, Lemurians, those beings were much more
Early Atlanteans, yes. And not leaving out the idea of people in other parts of your planet, because many of them also had a more natural way of relating to nature.
Yes, I think almost every continent had its share of shamanic beings that were connecting with nature.
Yes. And it was much more common in those societies to understand those things as natural.
Now, one person has a boa constrictor, and he wants to know how to communicate with that being, and if it's possible to create a relationship and an emotional connection between a reptilian being, and I'm talking about actual reptile, and human.
Well, of course it is. So again, many of the things we've already said will apply as well. The idea of the deep emotional bond, the idea of using imagery instead of words. The reptile will also assist you in understanding exactly how to frame those images, how to frame those emotions in its context, in its quote-unquote language.
So you're basically saying, be the snake, and then you will know how to talk to the snake.
In essence, yes.
Hi, Bashar.
And you good day.
Thank you. I was wondering if you can share any information with me about my family here on Earth. My parents have been deceased for 30 and 40 years.
Yes.
And I have one brother. I don't even know if he's alive. And I was...
Yes, he is.
Oh.
Philadelphia.
Can you suggest how I could find him?
Start your search in Philadelphia.
Okay.
That's all we can give you at this time. You'll be helped along the way with other information from other guides. But we can give you the beginning.
Okay.
Philadelphia.
Thank you.
Your imagination and your search will synchronistically provide you with clues along the way. This is a process, and you will need to go through the process, but we can start the ball rolling.
Thank you.
And there are clues in everything we just told you. You will have to suss them out.
Okay, I love to do research.
No, well, there you go.
How about my parents?
What about them? They're fine.
They are?
Yes, of course. They're in spirit. How could they not be?
Okay.
Yes.
As I was driving down here from Northern California, I stopped at a gas station that I stop at a lot when I leave here. And I got a phone call that my 95-year-old uncle had passed away.
All right.
In New Jersey. So
Yes.
I'll be going there this week. But he's
All right.
like my last known connection
All right.
to
Well,
my mother's side.
in your travels to your New Jersey, maybe either before or after on the way back, you might want to stop in Philadelphia. And see what happens.
Okay, thank you.
See who you might run into. Drive carefully.
Okay. And I'd just like to ask a question about Egyptian philosophy.
Yes.
Because everyone talks about Plato and Socrates.
Yes.
But they studied in Egypt. And I
Yes,
just
many of
wonder
them.
why.
Because the ancient priests of Egypt knew the secrets of Atlantis. And they passed them along. And it involved all sorts of different understandings of consciousness. Many of the concepts that we're talking to you about today were understood by the priesthood in ancient Egypt.
So why doesn't anybody talk about them, especially in connection to?
Because most historians don't know that.
They don't know. Okay. So,
There have been chapters and gaps in your history that have been lost.
so education is the key.
Yes, research is the key in a variety of ways, including altered states that allow you to download information to fill in the gaps. But also, when open contact finally does occur, many beings will bring you the missing gaps in your history. They will fill in your history for you, because many have been observing for thousands upon thousands of years, and they can tell you exactly what was going on your planet. So that will be one of the things that will bond you to the idea of an exchange with extraterrestrial beings in open contact, is they will provide you a sense of linear history, so you can really understand what you're really all about in terms of your journey and your path on Earth, and where you can go from there. It will be one of the gifts you will be given.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
And I am so excited, and I want to say...
Speak up.
Okay. Thank you so much for all the teachings. They have made an incredible difference.
Well, you have made the difference, but we thank you for allowing us to share what we know.
And
Speak up.
things are moving very quickly.
Yes,
as far
they
as
are.
transforming for me as well.
Yes.
I've recently decided that I would no longer play with fear and limitations
thank
and
you.
holding myself back. And so things are becoming very magical.
They often do when you
And-
let go of fear.
It's amazing.
Yes.
So, when I was younger, I put some blocks and stops up because very connected, very intuitive, hearing voices. And my dad was a psychiatrist, and so I kind of had this thing of, oh my God, I can't be crazy.
My daughter's insane.
No, actually, my dad was kind of cool because
Oh,
he
all
was
right.
like he had a lot of cool aspects to him.
Oh, all right.
And when I would tell him about the times that it happened, he said, "Oh, I bet you it's just like your guardian angel." And
All right.
so it kind of gave me permission, but it happened a couple of times where I finally said, "No,
Yes. Well, that's all right.
go away."
Yes.
And now I'm ready.
Yes,
But,
all right.
can you give me any information about the voice? It was very,
Well, your guides.
yeah.
Yes, your guides, your spirit guides. So, if you're ready to reestablish a more
Absolutely.
conscious relationship, you can.
Absolutely.
All right. And in what way will you utilize that experience in your life?
My dream is to make a difference in, like the gentleman said, transferring light to dark.
And how will you go about doing that as an example in life?
Well, part of what I've learned from you is being that and showing the
Yes.
side of that.
And how do you do that? How will you choose to do that? What will be the actual active outward expression of that? Just standing in one spot?
No, sir.
Thank you. So what will be your chosen outward expression right now? What is the most exciting thing you can actually be taking action on to express that and be an example that others can see?
Well, one small way I do it is I have an ex-husband who is my best teacher, and I have 2 boys, and so my phrase is gentle and kind, and I try and actually I
your
do
pardon.
damn well. I do
Thank
damn
you.
well at being gentle and kind when a
Yes.
lot of yuck comes my way,
All
and so
right.
that is me being
All right.
that. The other way,
In regards to your family,
absolutely,
and
that.
what about society?
I've worked
How
with
do you demonstrate it there?
Actually, not so much.
Thank
these
you.
days. Okay.
Why not? You want to be an example. If there's no one around to see it, what difference does it make?
I know.
Yes.
I love writing. I love drawing. I love.
All right. Are you doing these things and putting them out there?
I do not put them out
Why
there.
not? Why not? Why not?
Exactly. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Yes, why not? Can you answer that? Why not?
Still playing with a little bit of the
Oh, come on, be
What-
honest. Be honest. What are you
what peop-
afraid of?
what people
What
will,
are you afraid of?
what people will think.
Who cares?
Exactly. But
Why do you care? Why do you care? Why? You don't value yourself enough? You believe them when they attempt to reflect devaluation to you? Why do you believe them? Why do you think it has anything at all to do with you? Why do you think it's true that you're not worthy?
I feel really worthy inside.
But you're not acting like it outside.
Right.
Then you don't really believe it inside, because the things you know to be true, you just do. They're synonymous with your behavior. If it's not in your behavior, you don't understand it and you don't know
Hey, I
it.
behave. You know, I'm working on it because I behave.
I know you're working on it.
But yeah, no buts. I know.
Thank you.
Yeah,
if
I
we
heard you.
asked you to simply walk across the room, you wouldn't sit there and go, well, I'm working on it. You would just do it because you know you can. That means you know it to be true because it's exhibited in your external behavior. If it's not exhibited in your external behavior, this writing and drawing and so on and so forth, outwardly where everyone can see it because you're afraid of what they will think and you're afraid that they will judge you, then it's not something you yet actually know to be true for you.
Well, how about switching it to? I actually am afraid of how fast things move like magic.
So you don't believe that you will automatically regulate yourself?
It feels, amazingly magical. Like
Yes. Is that overwhelming to you?
sometimes.
All right. But again, that means you don't trust the rate at which your life unfolds.
Okay.
You can handle everything that happens. If you couldn't handle it, it wouldn't happen.
Yes.
Do you understand that principle?
Yeah, say it again so it just seeps in. Please.
You cannot actually receive more than you're ready to handle. It's not possible. But you can believe you're not ready to handle it.
Right. Well, I'm done with that.
All right. Then anything
yeah.
that comes your way, you have to know that the only way that could happen is that you can handle it. It has to be equal to the vibration you're giving off. It can't be more than the vibration you're giving off. It can't be less. It has to be equal to it.
Right. So I am ready for all this.
You see, when you create the idea that you can't handle something, you're actually putting out that vibration. Therefore, that's actually what you're getting. You're getting an experience of not being able to handle it, but it's exactly equal to the vibration you're giving out. So if you just rearrange that equation and say, well, of course I can handle it because I'm getting what I am putting out right now as an absolute equal reflection. So if I just change what I'm putting out, then it doesn't change the amount that comes back to me. It just changes the way I experience it because now I understand that it's equal. Whereas before I had a definition that said it wasn't. But it was. It was absolutely equal to the definition you were putting out. It always is. It can't be anything else. So if you know it's equal, you can act like it's equal and you will know that whatever it is, it's something you can handle. Because it can only be equal. Does this make sense physically? This is just physics.
Yes, it does.
All right. When you throw a ball against the wall and it comes back, the ball comes back. When you throw a ball against the wall, 2 balls don't come back. 3 balls don't come back. The ball you threw comes back. Equal and opposite reaction. Equal and opposite reaction. Yes?
Yes.
All right. So whatever ball you throw, that's what will come back. Not 15 balls.
All right.
No matter how it looks, if you've made it look like 15 balls, That's just the definition that you're throwing out. But what came back was equal to what you threw out, to show you how to regulate yourself to what you know is comfortable for you in terms of the way you define what will come back by changing the definition of what you put out.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense? Is this sinking in a little bit?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Will that help?
Yes.
All right. Then go and throw some balls and see what comes back.
Will do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
It's my first time here. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
it is our first time speaking with you as well. What a coincidence.
All right. My highest excitement happens to be in lucid dreaming,
Oh, all right.
and I've been practicing
Yes.
for 3 years now.
Oh, all right.
But-
And?
Well, I don't get exactly the results I want.
All right. That's
and
all right.
I'm stuck on my. I
All right.
believe.
Wait, what? Whoa. Now, what else excites you in life, too? Besides that, what's the next most exciting thing you can do if that's not coming to fruition yet?
Well, learning
Learning what?
about especially physics and how
right.
we can create energy and.
All right. And so you go about doing that too, yes?
Yes.
All right.
Um.
And so, have you learned anything in physics that can help you understand the frequency state you need to be in to lucid dream?
No.
Well,
Actually,
then you need to maybe study a little bit more physics.
all right. So I need to use my second option of highest excitement to.
Anytime you cannot fully act on the thing that excites you the most, act on the next most exciting thing, because all excitement is connected. And whatever it is you have more ability to act on will ultimately lead you back to what you don't have the ability to act on by giving you the ability to act on it. All things are connected in excitement. So if you are able to study physics, that must mean there's some information in there or some other thing you can act on that is representative of an excitement you can do that contains the information you need to allow you to do something you can't do right now that is also representative of your excitement. It's all connected.
All right. And may I ask you one more question about belief systems? Because I think I have a contradictory belief system, but
All right,
I
such
cannot
as?
look for it. I mean,
You can't look for it?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I mean,
Well, what's the
I don't see
contradictory
it.
belief about?
because when sometimes I did achieve lucid dreaming, and
Yes.
I was really excited, but
Yes?
I don't know how to repeat that.
Oh, all right. Your contradictory belief system is that you think you always have to repeat it. You don't.
All right.
When you can't, that's telling you you don't need to right now. Your insistence on doing it is the contradictory belief. You have to trust the way it unfolds, and especially if you have been able to do it, and then suddenly you find you can't, whatever it is you can't do at that moment is a sign that you don't need to do it at that moment. If you trust your life, that's how you read that sign. Not that something's wrong. Not that you should try even harder because maybe you can push it through, although sometimes that might be the answer. But more often than not, if you are able to do something and then you're not able to do it, that might be a sign that you don't need to do that right now. And your contradictory belief is the idea that you must be able to do it right now. That might not be true right now. Maybe you need to go through another process for another reason right now.
And do you see anything? Do you see anything I cannot see right now about it?
I just told you what I could
What?
see that you weren't seeing.
All right. And so I just, even if it's my highest excitement,
You're not
doesn't
getting
necessar-
it. You're not getting it. The thing that comes as your highest excitement doesn't mean that's the thing that has to manifest. That's why we say you need to drop all insistence on the outcome. You just act on the excitement to the best of your ability with no insistence on a particular outcome. Because that leaves room for what actually needs to happen, which your physical mind is not capable of determining all the time. What you actually need to have happen there. That's why you need to drop your insistence on that this has to happen. So follow the excitement, but don't expect that the form that the excitement comes in is always the thing that actually has to come to fruition, because it isn't always the thing that has to come to fruition. Sometimes something excites you at that moment just because it gets you to move, it gets you to act, and that's the most important thing, not that the thing you think should happen. Just puts you in a different state, and that may be all that was necessary at that moment. So never assume that you actually have to achieve the goal. If that's not what happens, then that's not what needs to happen at that moment. Something else needs to happen first. You need to trust the way it unfolds.
All right.
Make sense?
Make absolutely sense.
All
so
right.
I have to just
Yes.
when it comes to me, when I feel it, I act on it. But when it doesn't come, I just let it go and do something that.
If it doesn't excite you, if it's not the most exciting thing at that moment, act on whatever is, even if it seems completely unconnected on the surface. It's the excitement that tells you it is connected, not how it looks.
All right. Thank you very much.
Does that help you?
Yes, a lot.
All right. Thank you.
Bashar.
Hi, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I'm kind of really nervous,
Oh, how exciting.
I guess.
I know so. There's nothing to be nervous about. You can be excited instead if you want.
I think I am.
Oh, all right. Then speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
Okay, well, I guess in the past year,
Yes.
I've been through a lot of interesting, different situations.
Yes.
I
It sounds exciting.
It was. I mean, at first it was very scary,
Oh, that's exciting too.
but now it all made sense as to why
Alright.
it happened.
There you go.
But I guess, well,
You keep guessing a lot.
sorry. To be more specific, I
Yes.
was applying to colleges last year,
Yes.
and I didn't really have a direction in mind. I kind of was just doing it because I just
All right.
was.
So are you now realizing there are things you could be doing that are more representative of your excitement?
Yeah.
Such as? Such as?
I don't know yet.
It doesn't have to be a career. You're here today having this conversation, we assume, because this excited you. That's all you have to keep doing. When this conversation is over, out of all the options available to you, choose the one that has even just a little bit more excitement than anything else that you're able to act on. And act on it to the best of your ability until you can act on it no further. And just keep doing that. That step-by-step process will eventually expand into other larger scale things like projects, like careers, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So just start where you can, because all excitement is connected. So it doesn't have to start big, it can start small.
Okay. Well, I guess I ended up getting accepted
Two.
to UCLA.
Oh, all right.
And-
Four. What?
What major?
If that's what the way you wish to express it, yes.
Biology.
And
And
so you said, though, that you're not excited about this, yes? Or are you?
well, it's interesting what I'm learning.
right.
Usually a lot of people try really hard to get into the school, and I kind of just let it go, and it happened.
All right.
So
is this representative of your excitement in any way, shape, or form? Is it one of the expressions of your excitement?
Well, it's interesting because I am there now,
Yes.
but what I'm dealing with now is a lot of my fears and insecurities.
Well, isn't that a good thing?
Well,
Because now you're discovering them so you can let them go. Yes?
yeah,
So that's a positive thing, isn't it?
yeah,
Isn't that exciting?
yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is I get confused as to how to continue. I mean,
I just told you. If something comes up that is representative of one of your fears, then allow yourself to investigate it, because that's why it's coming up. This is an opportunity for you to get in touch more quickly with the things you want to let go of that are fear-based definitions. And when you've let go of them, you can decide whether or not to continue doing what it is that brought that opportunity to you, or change to something else. Or you can change now. But if you have those fear-based definitions, they're going to come up in whatever you do, because that's one of the things that the excitement kit does, is reflect to you the things that are out of alignment with excitement. So it's going to happen in one way, shape, or form. So if you want to do it in something that's more exciting, you can do it there. If you want to stay where you are and do it, you can do that too. But it's your decision. It doesn't matter.
Okay, I think what stops me from even considering doing anything else is my fear that this is the only way I can be successful.
Oh, poor you. I guess so then. I guess that's what's true for you then. It's the only possible thing you can do. Interesting, though, that you would think that the idea of doing something that you don't love would actually make you successful. Very, very interesting definition you have there of success.
Very complicated.
Well, it doesn't have to be.
Well, how do I change that? How do
Well,
I...
do you understand that you simply believe that this is the only thing that can allow you to feel successful? And that it's not empirically true, it's not really a fact, you just believe that it's true.
Is it? It's not?
No, of course not. How could it possibly be? If it were really true, you wouldn't even consider wanting to do anything else. It would never occur to you that there might be some other way. We wouldn't be having this conversation. If it was a fact of nature to you, built into you so strongly as an absolute truth that there was really no other way you could be in your mind successful, even questioning it would never occur to you. But the fact that it has is your first clue that there might actually be something else that you can be successful at that you would actually love.
Wow.
Wow. You see how to use logic here?
Yeah.
That's how you use logic in a positive way. You have to look at the obvious. And the obvious is, really, if you understand the structure of existence, it wouldn't occur to you to think that there might be something else. You would never even wonder if it was an empirical fact of existence that this is the only path for you to be successful in.
So all the pain and everything that's coming up, it's
resistance to your natural self. Resistance to what is actually true for you. Forcing yourself to go down a path that isn't yours. Forcing yourself to be someone you're not. Forcing yourself to be a shape you weren't made to be is painful.
Yeah.
So stop doing it. Lighten up. And know that you can align with whatever is truly exciting for you. And the fact that something might be more exciting is your first clue that that's where your success actually lies.
Okay. So how do I use the experience of being at UCLA right now?
I told you. If you want to use it for a while to see if it can become more exciting, that you can change your definitions of what you're doing and allow it to be more exciting, or use it temporarily to find out what some of your fear-based definitions are so you can explore them and let them go, you can use it that way. It's up to you. However, again, you must honor your belief system. It doesn't do you any good to leave that and do something that is exciting if you don't believe that it will actually support you successfully.
Okay.
You must honor your belief system and change when you feel that it is comfortable to change.
Okay.
So it's up to you, but if you at least start doing things that excite you as often as you can, you will allow your excitement to show you in unexpected ways that it actually can support you. And then maybe you'll build up more confidence that it can. And then maybe in your own good time, sooner or later, you'll be willing to trust that it can, and you'll let go of the things you don't actually prefer to do, knowing now that your excitement can actually support you.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, that helps.
So the
a lot.
transitional rate is up to you. It's in your hands. Fast or slow is up to you.
Okay, well, something that also ties in with the success is I was raised with I know where the belief comes from. I have a fear of lack.
But that means you just have an abundance of lack.
Well, yeah.
So use your abundance in another way, because you're never not abundant. You're always abundant in something, even if you're abundant in lack.
How do I be abundant in not lack?
Well, if you understand that everything is about abundance of something, then why would you prefer to use your abundance to experience an abundance of lack instead of something else? Because there is no such thing as a lack of abundance. It's just an abundance of lack. Once you understand that in your mind, that it's always an abundance of something, then you get to choose what form the abundance expresses itself in, because it's all abundance. There's no such thing as lack. It's an abundance of the experience of lack. That's all. So if you don't prefer that, use your abundance in another way by knowing that you can, by knowing that everything is a form of abundance of something. Even if it's something you don't prefer, it's still a form of abundance.
Really? Really?
Yes. You cannot be non-abundant. It's your natural state to be abundant in something. When was the last time you were abundant in absolutely nothing?
Never.
Lack is still something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Therefore, you've never been abundant in nothing. So you might as well be abundant in what you prefer as opposed to being abundant in what you don't prefer. Because abundance is your natural state. Confidence is your natural state. Trust is your natural state. Abundance is your natural state. You are always confident that something is true. You always trust that something is true. You are always abundant in something. Be confident about what you prefer to be. Trust what you prefer to trust. Have abundance in what you prefer to have abundance in, instead of what you don't. Because you can't change the fact that you're always confident, trusting, and abundant. You can only change what you're confident, trusting, and abundant in. So if you now recognize that it's not a lack of abundance, it's an abundance of lack, you go, oh, well, I'm always abundant, so I might as well now change it to an abundance I prefer instead of one that I don't. Period.
Wow, that sounds so much simpler than...
It is. Yeah. And I understand that sometimes that's the greatest challenge on your planet, believing that it's actually that simple. But it is. But it's up to you to know that that's true and act like you know it and get the advantage of it, because that's the way reality works.
So struggle doesn't have to happen?
No. Challenge, yes, but not struggle, not pain. Challenge is exciting. To learn something new, to grow, to investigate, to explore, to discover. That's what challenge is about.
So I should treat everything in my life as a challenge then?
Yes, why not? That's how you will then experience it. Remember, you only experience what you put out. So if you always give everything a positive meaning, then it will only be experienced in a positive way, even if it was generated negatively to begin with. Even if it's any situation you might have previously identified as negative, you can neutralize it and know that it doesn't have any built-in meaning. It's just a neutral circumstance. It's just an empty set of props that you get to fill with the meaning that you prefer. No matter how anyone else may choose to identify it, doesn't matter. You can always extract a positive effect from every situation if you constantly know that it can serve you that way. But if you constantly say, well, this can only serve me in a negative way, that's the only way you can experience it, because this is just physics. What you put out is what you get back. It doesn't have a mind of its own. It's just a neutral circumstance.
Wow.
Does that help you?
That's awesome.
All right.
Really
well,
good.
then today you have graduated to another level.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Thank you.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's all you need right now.
Thank you, Bashar.
You are welcome.
I love you.
Our unconditional love to you as well. Let these things sink in, and they will make more and more and more sense to you. And as soon as they make absolute sense to you, you will know exactly how to proceed in your life from there. And?
So our next questioner, I'm going to take the mic to her.
All right.
But someone needs to undo the cord.